Hello, today, we're diving into the best cancer-fighting foods, the ones that can help starve cancer. But before we get to that, we need to understand what fuels cancer. If we're going to starve it, we need to know what feeds it. Cancer thrives on glucose, a phenomenon known as the Warburg effect, which I'll explain in more detail shortly. Other contributing factors include chronic inflammation, exposure to carcinogenic compounds that cause cell mutations, and oxidative stress, which creates an environment where cancer can flourish. A weakened immune system also plays a role. Normally, our immune system cleans up abnormal cells, but if it's not functioning properly, cancer may gain the upper hand. Hormonal imbalances and gut health are also key factors, as a disrupted gut can impact all of these elements. It's important to note that when people think about cancer-fighting foods, they often adopt a pill mentality, searching for a superfood that will eliminate all the bad in the body. However, it's not that simple. First, we need to eliminate the factors that promote cancer. Only then can we focus on foods that strengthen the body and the immune system, potentially offsetting some of these factors. The Warburg effect highlights that cancer cells, unlike normal cells, prefer glucose as their energy source. These cells, although originally from your body, have changed and now behave differently, favoring glucose over other fuels. There are two primary ways a cell can produce energy: glycolysis and oxidative phosphorylation, OXPHOS. Glycolysis occurs without oxygen, while oxidative phosphorylation requires oxygen to generate ATP, the energy currency of the cell. Understanding these processes is key to knowing how to combat cancer through diet. Next, we have two types of fuel: glucose and fat. Glucose can enter either of the two energy pathways, glycolysis or oxidative phosphorylation, OXPHOS. On the other hand, fat can only enter the OXPHOS pathway, which requires oxygen. In a healthy, well-behaved body cell, OXPHOS is the preferred method of generating energy since oxygen is typically present. When oxygen isn't available, the cell can switch to glycolysis, but this isn't its primary method because oxygen is the normal state. However, cancer cells are not well-behaved. They primarily rely on glycolysis, even if they can perform oxidative phosphorylation. They favor glycolysis because it's a faster way to produce energy, and cancer cells, being rogue, aim to grow as quickly as possible. This preference for glycolysis is a key characteristic of cancer cells. Now, if we flood the system with glucose, keeping blood sugar levels high, we're essentially feeding the cancer cells with their preferred fuel, which accelerates their growth. The more aggressive and malignant the cancer, the more it depends on glucose for rapid growth. This is why imaging tests for cancer often involve glucose. Cancerous cells light up on the screen because they absorb glucose more than normal cells. Understanding the Warburg effect makes it clear that if we want to starve cancer, we should adopt a low-carb diet or even a ketogenic diet in some cases. I've discussed this in many videos, but here's a quick rundown. Foods like avocados, leafy greens, non-starchy vegetables, extra virgin olive oil, butter, and coconut oil are all healthy fats that don't raise blood sugar. Low-carb options also include meat, fish, and chicken, ideally from natural sources like grass-fed, wild-caught, and pasture-raised animals. Nuts, seeds, and mushrooms are also low in carbs and don't spike blood glucose. It's important to remember that this list isn't exhaustive. The key is to understand what these foods have in common and recognize that many other similar, real foods can also be beneficial. We also need to recognize that while these foods are chosen to counteract the Warburg effect and starve cancer cells that thrive on sugar, they also address other key areas. If the foods are natural and whole, they can reduce or be neutral to chronic inflammation, carcinogens, oxidative stress, immune system issues, hormonal imbalances, and gut health. This approach is very different from relying on isolated chemicals or vitamins, which might target one specific area, like a medication, but don't provide the comprehensive benefits that whole foods do. Since inflammation is a significant factor in cancer development, it's crucial to consume foods that lower inflammation or at least remain neutral. Low-carb foods are particularly important because high-carb diets can lead to insulin resistance, a driver of inflammation. Additionally, natural anti-inflammatory compounds found in foods like garlic, turmeric, and ginger can be beneficial. Berries, which contain anthocyanins, and fatty fish high in omega-3s, also help balance the body's inflammatory response. Unlike a pill, these foods support a more natural modulation of inflammation. Broccoli, with its sulforaphane, dark chocolate with flavonoids, and extra virgin olive oil with oleocanthal, are more examples of foods that contribute to reducing inflammation. While I've mentioned just a few examples, it's important to remember that many other real foods offer similar benefits across multiple health areas. When it comes to carcinogens and chemicals that need to be detoxified by the body, the liver plays a crucial role. If the liver is overwhelmed by excess sugar and alcohol, it can't function optimally, so reducing those is essential. Supporting the liver with foods like cruciferous vegetables, which contain glucosinolates, and tomatoes with lycopene, can aid in its detox pathways. Garlic and other members of the leek family provide sulfur compounds that assist the liver, while eggs offer choline, an important nutrient for liver metabolism. As you can see, many whole foods naturally fit into these patterns. By understanding these connections, we can make better choices that promote overall health and support the body's natural defenses against cancer. We're not limited to specific foods, and we should avoid thinking of them as magic pills or solutions. Instead, we should focus on detoxifying carcinogens and harmful chemicals. Whole foods, in particular, can help in multiple ways, including boosting the immune system. For instance, garlic and ginger are well-known immune boosters. They have antibacterial properties, acting like natural antibiotics, and they also aid in immune modulation, helping the immune system to balance and function properly. These foods can even boost the production of white blood cells, the body's main defense against infections. Mushrooms are another great example, as they contain beta-glucans, which stimulate immune function. Bell peppers, rich in vitamin C, are also essential for the immune system. While many people turn to citrus fruits, especially orange juice, for vitamin C, bell peppers actually contain more vitamin C with far less sugar. It's important to choose foods that don't counteract their own benefits. Even though I've highlighted specific compounds in these foods, many other whole and fresh foods provide similar benefits across various health areas. If they are natural, whole, and fresh, they will help in multiple aspects of your health. Now, let's talk about hormone balance. Two hormones are primarily linked to cancer: estrogen and insulin. Estrogen, especially in females, is associated with cancers like breast cancer, but insulin plays a crucial role too. High insulin levels or insulin resistance can disrupt estrogen balance, making it vital to manage insulin levels. Therefore, a low-carb or moderate-carb diet is essential, particularly for those who are insulin resistant. The more insulin resistant you are, the fewer carbs you should consume. Broccoli reappears here, as it contains indole-3-carbinol, which helps balance estrogen levels. Healthy fats are also key for both inflammation and hormone regulation. Foods like fatty fish rich in omega-3s, extra virgin olive oil, and avocados, which are high in monounsaturated fats, are excellent choices as they are neutral to inflammation and support overall health. Incorporating foods that support various bodily functions is essential, and once you start understanding the benefits, you'll realize that many other real foods can help in multiple areas as well. One important aspect to focus on is reducing oxidation and oxidative stress. Natural antioxidants found in certain foods play a crucial role in this process. However, it's essential to avoid the misconception that more antioxidants are always better. Some people rush to buy synthetic antioxidants in large doses, but this can be harmful. Oxidation is a natural part of energy production, where food is converted into energy, producing free radicals in the process. Natural antioxidants help neutralize these free radicals, but taking megadose synthetic antioxidants can interfere with energy production and potentially shorten lifespan. Long-term studies have shown that people who consume the most synthetic antioxidants often have shorter lifespans because this approach disrupts the body's natural balance. Instead, it's better to rely on natural sources like berries, dark chocolate, green tea, turmeric, tomatoes, and pomegranates, which are rich in antioxidants and support overall health. You'll find these beneficial compounds in a wide variety of plants and real foods. Gut health is another critical factor, closely linked to immune function. A healthy gut is essential for regulating inflammation, managing allergies, and supporting hormone balance. Poor gut health, on the other hand, can lead to various diseases. While finding the right foods for gut health can be tricky, there are signs, such as gas or upset stomach, that may indicate an imbalance. If you experience these symptoms, it might be time to seek help and consider adjusting your diet. One of the first steps in improving gut health is to incorporate fermented or probiotic foods into your diet. These foods support a balanced gut microbiome, which in turn enhances your overall well-being. If you're interested in learning more about gut health and how to improve it, additional resources and guidance can be provided, including programs that offer testing and coaching for a personalized approach. These foods contain beneficial bacteria that are good for your gut health. Some of these bacteria can colonize the gut, setting up shop and helping to maintain balance, while others simply pass through, outcompeting harmful bacteria and creating a competitive environment that keeps the bad ones in check. Examples of such probiotic foods include sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, and kefir, though you can ferment many other types of food as well. In addition to probiotics, there are prebiotic foods, which serve as nourishment for the probiotics. These prebiotics include foods like asparagus, onions, garlic, and leeks, which are rich in inulin or fructooligosaccharides, FOS. Leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage also contain beneficial compounds, including fiber and polyphenols, that support gut health by selectively feeding and encouraging a diverse microbiome. While these foods are beneficial, it's essential to remember that they aren't unique. There are many other real foods that can contribute to your gut health and overall well-being, so don't limit yourself to just these options. However, as important as it is to focus on what you eat, it's equally crucial to pay attention to what you avoid. Let's compare how processed foods affect the 7 mechanisms that can contribute to cancer. First, processed foods are often high in sugar and white flour, which quickly raise blood sugar levels. This directly violates the principle of not feeding cancer cells, as they thrive on sugar. Moreover, long-term consumption of sugar and white flour leads to chronic inflammation, a key factor in developing insulin resistance and perpetuating inflammation. Processed foods are also notorious for creating oxidative stress, adding another strike against them. On top of that, processed foods are loaded with chemicals, such as artificial sweeteners, flavorings, colors, pesticides, stabilizers, and preservatives. Many of these chemicals may be carcinogenic, with some already banned in certain countries. These chemicals also contribute to oxidative stress and inflammation, affecting multiple health aspects simultaneously. In summary, avoiding processed foods is crucial, as they negatively impact several mechanisms linked to cancer development, while whole, natural foods support and protect your body in various ways. So now we have 4 out of 7 key factors already affected by processed foods. But it doesn't stop there. These factors also work in the opposite direction, weakening your immune system. Essentially, processed foods place a significant burden on your immune defenses, earning them a big red X when it comes to supporting immunity. When it comes to hormones, processed foods aren't much better. We already know that sugar and white flour spike blood sugar and contribute to insulin resistance, which in turn throws off estrogen balance. But beyond that, many chemicals added to processed foods act as endocrine disruptors. These chemicals can mimic hormones, fitting into hormone receptors and confusing your body, blocking, stimulating, or otherwise disrupting normal hormone function. This dysregulation leads to an unbalanced hormone system, further complicating your health. And let's talk about gut health. Processed foods don't just fail to support a healthy gut, they actively work against it. The gut's balance is crucial for overall health, influencing inflammation, immunity, and even hormone regulation. Processed foods can cause dysbiosis, leading to an overgrowth of harmful bacteria and an imbalanced microbiome. This, in turn, exacerbates the other problems we've discussed, creating a vicious cycle of declining health. The takeaway here is clear. Processed foods are not your friend. If 90% of your diet consists of something other than processed foods, you're on the right track. Real food, unprocessed, natural food, is what your body needs to function optimally. When we add chemicals, repackage, and modify food, it stops functioning like real food. As a clear example, consider those products with long ingredient lists. You know the ones, full of unpronounceable additives and chemicals. These aren't foods you want to consume. Yet, our culture is filled with products like this, and we're often told to evaluate them based on things like calorie counts. But we've just seen that calories alone don't tell the full story. There are so many other factors at play that influence your health, especially when it comes to cancer risk. So, learn to recognize and prioritize real food. Make it the core of your diet and avoid the traps of processed foods. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love the next one. And if you're serious about mastering your health by understanding how the body truly works, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure you get all the latest life-saving content.